In dealing with daily life, we come across two types of people who seek to change lives. Hustlers, who are about making it in life no matter what, and the healers, who dedicate their time and energy to helping the collective. These are their representatives.
I know what you thought you was gonna hear.
But this ain't that.
Where the grind meets growth, this is Hustle and Heal.
So here's the thing. In between the brunch hour and now, I still don't know how to start a fucking show, clearly. Yeah, we out here just
Me
looking
neither.
crazy.
I feel like at this point, people should know what to expect because they've seen us now in thrice different environments, different scenarios. Like we've evolved in front of people.
All right, so let's get the show on the road. Listen, my name is Styles,
And I am Blessed Jess.
and this is Hustle and Heal.
Let's go. So on this episode,
There we go. Thank
we'll
you.
be talking about success in life and business and how it often hinges on the people you surround yourself with. Also, we'll be deep diving into the dynamics of finding the right partners, whether romantic or professional. We will discuss how to align values, set healthy boundaries, and avoid common pitfalls when choosing who to build with, both in life and in business. So every week, we will have a listener challenge. And this week, what we want you to do while you're listening to our episode today is to reflect on your current partnerships, romantic, business, and or friendships, and see how they are aligned with your values and your goals. Capiche?
Capiche.
Capiche. So Styles, tell me about a time when a partnership, whether romantic or business, went really well or really wrong.
A friend of mine started this, that's a really good question, and I don't fucking know. I thought I had an answer. All right.
I don't think I've ever really done I guess partnerships. Are we talking about just relationships or just like a business relationship then?
I mean, either. Let's not go with the relationship.
I was about to say, because I got plenty that have gone wrong.
It's too early for that. But all right, so we had a web portal that we had started or was starting called Urban Engine. I didn't know anything about, the interwebs or anything like that. And I'm talking like this was maybe, I hate age. So this is maybe like in
Ash Jeeves.
For real.
These kids don't even know Jeeves. Who the fuck is Jeeves, nigga? Yahoo was a search engine. We was actually using Yahoo.
Yahoo was a search engine, and it was Yahoo.
We was actually using it.
We were.
Google was not even a thing for real.
High-speed internet was called a T1, and they had to physically put that cable in your house. Anyway, off that. We came up with this web portal called Urban Engine.
Okay.
It was going to be a digital shopping mall online. So akin to an Amazon right now, but more like what you do your VR goggles that you have now. Technology wasn't there, but we were big dreamers. Anywho.
Nigga, you could have been that motherfucker.
Listen, it was the internet bubble
Damn.
time before it burst. But anyway, what we did was this. I got with a bunch of people. A friend of mine came to me with the idea. I took it to another friend of mine who actually had the bread to get it done. I put them in a room together. They worked it out. Then I went and got some other people for like some software engineers and stuff like that. Needless to say, I got squeezed out of the deal. And that's still my man to today.
Is the business successful still?
No. That's not to say that it wasn't, because
Okay.
it was, and they did a couple of things with it before they let it fall to the wayside, but that's one of my harrowing stories.
Okay, so in the beginning, what made the partnership work?
It was a chemistry. So basically, it was I don't want to say it was a bunch of hood educated dudes, but it was more or less like that. I worked on Wall Street at the time at a copy shop, right? I was actually taking orders at that time. Then I converted to a salesperson because I was like, oh, there's more money in this. Let's do that. And I met him from canvassing different buildings and stuff like that, trying to get some accounts. So that was how I met one. The other one, he was one of my accounts. He worked for Prudential Securities.
Okay.
So he was like, yo, I got he was a young dude. We was all young at that time. Yes, I was once young. We was all young.
I hear you, Jeeves.
Yeah. You know, so after a couple of Long Island iced teas at 5 o'clock every day, he was like, yo, Styles, I got this idea. Like, oh, I like the idea. I got this guy that does this. Let me put y'all together. Put them together. They worked out whatever they worked out. You know what's so funny? I should have seen it coming because they squeezed him out before they squeezed me out. Yeah, he was out of here before that. And then after they squeezed him out, I was next in line, of course, but whatever.
These were your personal friends?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What were the red flags you missed?
I didn't know anything about business.
Okay.
I didn't know. I knew how the corporate world worked with regards to, you know, you fill out this application, you get a job, and you a slave forever.
Right.
I knew how that worked. As far as running a business and being part of a business that I had, you know, equity in, I didn't know anything about that. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other
I mean, it's
ones that worked?
Yes, ones that work, but we'll get into that later. But I did have one. My brother and I actually started a magazine called Whips, Chicks, and Bikes, Cars, Women, and Motorcycles. That worked until it didn't work. But it worked. It worked on the business side. It didn't necessarily work on the personal side.
Okay.
Right. So we'll get into that later.
Okay.
But yeah.
So why does this topic matter? Because success is rarely a solo journey. Whether in business or relationships, the right partnerships can elevate you while the wrong ones can hold you back. So let's talk about it. What makes a great partner and what are the red flags that tell you when to walk away?
I know it seems like we're reading everything off here. We're just trying to stay on track, you know, to give you guys.
Because we will go left.
Yo,
stay left. Stay left. So the emotional side of it, like how did you feel? Like, did you feel like you lost a friend? Were you able to maintain the relationship?
It was horrible because again, the numbers that we were all right. So the friend that I have until today, not the guy that first brought the idea to me.
Right.
But the guy that's my friend to this day, he actually, it was rough because we go through our periods of time where we talk, we don't talk, we talk, we don't talk, and stuff like that. So it was kind of emotional for me because he had brought me other deals outside of that because I sold print services, right? So he put me in a lot of different rooms to actually make money for my master. Remember, it's the corporate world,
right.
You know what I mean? So he put some money in my pocket that way. In terms of the business itself, though, I was actually looking for the big payday at the end of the day.
As we all know.
You know, so we looked at it, we ran some numbers. There was a lot of, there was some big figures being thrown around. So when I wasn't a part of that or able to be a part of that, that shit hurt,
Of course. Okay, so throughout all of your ups and downs with your friends, did it have a severe financial toll on you? Like, did you invest a lot?
No, I didn't. See, that was the beautiful thing about it. I didn't have to invest anything, right?
Okay.
So my skin in the game and my equity came from me putting the pieces together. So I knew what we needed and I knew who had it in order for us to go and get it. Like, for instance, we needed a graphic designer. We hopped in the car, literally. My man's office was in the old Rockefeller building. Mm-hmm. Rockefeller, where Rockefeller actually first started, 111 John. He was in that same building. There was a car rental place not too far from there. We rented a car. We spoke to dude online or whatever. We was like, listen, this is what we're trying to do. He was interested, but he was on the fence. Mm-hmm. And we're all in sales, so we got to close this. So we went, got a car. We drove down to NC, true story, same day. Spoke to dude, sealed everything, and told him what we were trying to do. He was super duper interested. He was on board. We drove our ass back to New York, same day. I'm talking, it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't have to actually invest anything. He was the money man, right? He was the money man and the technology behind the whole situation.
So now you see why it's important to have some type of investment, like to be needed.
Yeah.
So you can't get.
Yeah, but the thing is, I did ignore a red flag. One of the red flags was when we got rid of the guy whose idea it was. And I was like, of course I'm next in line. How could I not be next in line? Right?
Okay.
So that's that. What's your perspective?
So the emotional side of ending a partnership, I could see how that would be very taxing, and especially if you are still in communication and still in interactions with these people, that has to be like something you really got to pay attention to, how you hold yourself when you got to interact with these people, because you still want to be professional, you still want to maintain certain bonds, but after that, like, how do you even look at them the same? How do you even deal with people?
Okay. That's actually a really good question. I know a lot of other people are like, yo, fuck him. But it wasn't that. I didn't understand the business behind it, right? Because what happened was, when I came in, again, I had all the pieces. He was like, listen, you should be the CEO. Little did I know, CEOs don't mean anything. They're just workers. Their work is just like everybody else, right? So it doesn't mean anything. But at the time, I was a title whore. I didn't go to him on some like I need to be.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that. However, when he said it, that should have been a red flag too. Reason being, we never did business like that before.
Right.
He's never seen me in that capacity. You understand?
Okay.
So I should have been like, all right, chill. I can't do that. But I'm just going to continue in my role of putting the pieces together, and then we work it out like that. Right?
Okay.
But then when we got rid of Terrence, that was the guy that actually brought the whole idea to us. I should have knew the writing was on the wall.
So look, why it's so important to trust your instincts when something feels off. To me, I tell this to my clients all the time. Your intuition, your gut feeling is almost like your own personal security ADT for your body. Like, you might not know specifically something's wrong, but your body will tell your ass something off. It'll be like, all right, pay attention. Mm-hmm. You might not know what to pay attention to at the time, but your intuition is your own personal Debo. Like, to let you know, motherfucker, something the fuck is going on. You need to keep your head on the swivel.
Big fact.
But now, I guess now that you're older, are you trusting your intuition more?
Watch out with that old shit.
You are older, nigga. We are hour older than we started at 12. You are hour older, nigga. But now that you are more experienced,
right,
more seasoned,
do
you feel like you trust your intuition a little bit more now?
A lot more, actually. A lot more. And I don't even say that I don't think that, but there have been plenty of situations I've been put in being the older figure in the group, and I didn't take advantage of anybody like that. Not saying that he did it on, because we've had plenty of conversations, surrounding that whole situation. I personally don't move like that and haven't moved like that,
I don't know who I've heard say this, and I know I've probably seen like on TV, like how Jewish people do business. Like, they'll take each other to court and then go out to lunch later because they know it's just business. Like, they don't take it personal. Like,
you know what? And not only that, yes. And what's so crazy about that is, if you have it, right, they're doing it on principle alone. It has nothing to do with the money. So it's like, I got the bread, nigga. I own the block.
The scenario that I heard it in, it was a situation where one of the friends missed something in like a contract, and the other friend took advantage of it and took him to court and got money, and the other friend didn't get mad. He was like, got me. Like, that was my oversight.
It was a lesson.
It was a lesson.
His family's still gonna eat. He's still gonna own the block.
He still got his friend.
And still got his friend. I mean, I still have my friend. I still had his 35 years.
So I'm not even mad that you still have him, because as you're telling the story, I'm like, sound like how Jewish people do business. Like, they don't fuck around and ruin bonds over money, because that it comes and goes. You'll get it back,
right? And
you learn a lesson along the way. So yeah, you might have lost some money, but I taught your ass a little bit something more valuable.
Nah, big facts.
You never lose it again. You'll
Big facts.
Fuck up like that again.
Yeah, like for instance, like projects that I start now, I know for a fact what I'm gonna do. Well, what I have been doing is basically, like we said before, probably on a previous episode, start off small.
Yeah.
Right. So let's just use podcasting for instance, right? If it's podcasting, I'm only committing to like 5 episodes. That's it. I'm just going to commit to 5 episodes.
Right.
I know what I bring to the table, and I know that I'm going to bring everything to bear with regards to that. And then we'll work it out from there.
Right.
Right. Because it gives you enough time to work out the kinks and stuff like that. I'm tired of losing friends over business. I ain't going to hold you. Like, I'm tired of losing friends over business. Like, I'm a saltine fucking cracker. Like, I kid you not. And then I have to control my emotions. You get what I'm saying? And I can't. And they're like, yo, Styles, don't be that person. I'm like, I don't want to be that person. But then also, I feel like you can't judge my reaction to something you did to me.
Of course, nobody can ever tell you how they made you feel. Like,
Well,
ever.
it happens all the time. You'd be surprised.
So, keys to keeping a strong partnership, like being aligned with values and vision. In business, do you share the same work ethic, goals, and financial mindset? Like, that's super important to have a good financial
It is.
Or a business partnership
is.
and in relationships too.
With regards to actually picking a partner, whether it's a business, we're staying with the business because we're in the hustle segment right
Gotcha.
now.
Okay.
Right? Staying with the business. You got to avoid the Me Too people. I bump into a lot of Me Too people. When I say that, I'm not talking about the original way that the term was defined. I'm talking about the people where you're like, yo, I get up at 6 o'clock. This is coming out of your mouth.
Right.
I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then whatever it is that I need to do that I had set the night before, I get that done, right? And then if I have something to do, listen, I go so hard. And that person's response is me too. And my response is bullshit. Now is bullshit. Because
Right.
you bump into them all the time because we have to understand that, like, if I come to you and I'm excited about something, what are you gonna be?
Excited too.
Exactly. Without thinking. Yeah, it just rubs off. Like, excited,
Hey.
right?
Good job.
But
Great.
what happens though is you might be excited, but you're not totally bought in as far as the work ethic and
You know
the work
why?
is concerned.
Because you're the one that saw the vision. I didn't have a vision. You brought it to me and I don't see it the way you
Right,
see
but
it.
what'd you say though?
Hey, me too.
There you go. So you have to temper your emotions and evaluate it before
Right.
you can actually come out your face and say X,
Right,
Y,
right,
and Z,
right,
right?
right.
Yo, I lose so many fucking friends. I swear to God, because it's just like once you do something or start something and then that something doesn't come to fruition, I'm not the nigga to push it down.
Are you able to shut the hell up about your visions then? Like
No.
a lot of times, because I'm the same way too.
No.
Like I get excited and I want to share with people because I don't want the people around me to be
Right.
left behind. I want to bring everybody with me, and then
Right.
you get that disappointment where you see you can't take everybody with you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'm not a gatekeeper because I feel like if I tell you the idea, it doesn't matter, right? Because
Right.
you're not gonna put in the same work that I put in.
Right.
1, 2. You might not think how I think. You might see it totally different, right? So
Right.
my $1 million idea might be a $2 million idea in
Right,
you know
right.
in your hands, which is fine because I'm gonna still get my million.
Right.
So I don't care. So holding it in for me, I can't hold it in. It ain't nothing to
feel
talk
you.
about. I can't hold it in because I want to
Gotta be some Leo shit.
I want to keep the momentum. And that's the thing. I can't keep the momentum if I'm the only one hyping myself up.
So you definitely need to have the people with the same work ethic, goals, and the financial mindset with that part.
What about it?
The investment part.
What
So
about it?
even with the financial mindset,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that probably would be excited about it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
can't invest the same way as you.
Which is fine. But see, this is the thing. When you're putting together a team, and I've done this in the past, and this is basically how I do business.
You do it now.
No, I've done it in the
You
past.
still do it now. You're a good
No.
investor.
See, hold on. No, not even that. What it is, yes, I hear what you're saying, but you jumped the gun. What I'm saying is this. If I have the bread, and this is what I'm taking away from that first experience with Urban Engine, if I have the bread, that's my role. Then you have to go and get the pieces. The product and the production, whatever it is, it costs money,
Right.
right? So if you have the know-how and the money, you up. If you have the money, but the person that knows how to put it together, you up.
No,
You understand what I'm
facts,
saying?
facts.
So that's my thing. I don't care about the bread. I've got, like, for instance, this guy, my man. He actually he's the bread, right? The bread and the brains for most of the situation. Because we've done plenty of projects after that. I'll get to that, or maybe I won't. But we've done plenty of projects after that.
Okay.
And he's always been the bread because he has his own company. I don't have the leverage, the monetary leverage to
Understood.
actually step
Understood.
in and make shit happen. However, I'm a thinker. You understand? I will problem solve the fuck out of something. You understand? I will
Can
figure
do.
out where the money's coming from. I will figure out who we need to go to in order to get it and how we need to approach them in order to get it. You understand? I understand marketing to a greater degree than a lot of people. And when I say a lot of people, I'm just talking about on our level, right?
Gotcha.
As far as our
Yeah.
paychecks are concerned.
Right.
I'm not talking about this level. That's a different level. But yeah, so it's just basically trying to get the buy-in and then putting the pieces in place. I don't care about everybody just has to play their position. And a lot of people, they either don't have the patience, passion, or the wherewithal to actually see it through. You know? And what's so ill too is let's say I bring you into something. That's something that I bring you into. I always break off some type of equity or partnership.
Okay.
Have to, because you got to have some skin in the game.
Absolutely.
You understand? But we are short-sighted as people. You know what I mean? You telling me about money we haven't even made yet. You know, stock options in the late 90s, the early 2000s, that was, or pardon, because it even goes back as far as like Microsoft. In the internet boom, that whole stock options, you didn't make bread. You was answering phones. You know how you got you to answer the phone? Check it out. I'm gonna give you 600 shares. Shares ain't worth shit right now, right? But as soon as they do that IPO, you up. Microsoft secretaries are millionaires after they did their IPO. Apple, millionaires after they did their IPO. And any subsequent web, whatever that came after that did an IPO, they were paid. You can't sell people on a promise nowadays because they need to see we're so much under pressure right now financially.
That part.
I need the bread now. Give me my money right now. Give me my money.
Give me my money. And I guess that like where we are now, just with society, with what's going on, it's important to have people around you with the same goals, same mindset, same ethic. Because you ain't finding that for real.
Nah, big facts. Can we get into the relationship though? The relationship shit. Picking that partner. Yeah, that part of it is rough.
This could be a unlimited episode. You know how
this
could go on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Sharing the same core values, lifestyle expectations, and long-term plans. Like I feel like that's
with your partner.
With your partner. I feel like the thing that a lot of people miss on that is like everybody's gonna evolve and grow. So even though me and you agree right now, I may wake up tomorrow and feel different.
That's why I need the paper signed.
But
sign that fucking paper.
But even with that, it has to be some type of communication too. I can't just change my mind and leave you out there like that. There has to be a talk. There has to be some type of, like, my expectations is communication. Like, let me know so I'm not in this thinking that we're going this way and you've made a decision to go here and I'm still putting in all this work like we on the same goal. So communication is super huge. Core values, everybody's brought up different. Everybody's raised different. I was brought up initially with a single mother, then I had a stepfather. I was in a 2-parent household, want the best. Some people do great with just one. Like, everybody has different values. We have different family traditions and expectations. All that stuff, we're bringing it to the table with somebody else, and it's always going to be something that don't mesh.
Well. Yeah.
So then the communication needs to come in. Long-term plan, like, do you want kids? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want a business? You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to stay at home and I work? And like, what the communication is fucking the foundation for everything. So it's definitely
I think that, your blueprint as far as relationships are concerned, them shits have to align. You get what I'm saying? Because if it doesn't, like, for instance, just like you said, if I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Now, are you going to foster those dreams? You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a slouch.
Right.
I work for my money.
Right.
But
are you going to be okay with me being busy and not being up under you, not calling every second?
Right.
Are you going to be okay with that, staying at home?
So how do you feel about, as far as like adding to the alignment, that person, doing something that's in the same vertical as you?
Go explain it more.
All right. So boom, you're songwriting.
Okay.
Right. So if I were a songwriter, I'm gonna date a songwriter. Because who else would understand me as much as that person would? They understand the time. What? Go ahead.
Okay. Nope. I see where you're going with this.
You know what I mean?
I'm under this is my thing. A creative has to be with another creative.
100%.
100%.
Now,
It don't have to be the same type of creative. Like
no, it does though. It kind of does.
To
You have to break it down to the granular level, and then what it is like, for instance, if you're a YouTuber, you're a creative, right?
Right.
I'm a songwriter. I'm a creative.
Okay.
Right? But those things don't necessarily intertwine. So what would have to happen with these creative minds is this. You're like, all right, cool. I'm a YouTuber. I need music to do X, Y, and Z, right? I'm a songwriter, but I'm trying to get out here and, write Grammy-worthy things. I don't have time to do, you get what I'm saying? So it kind of has to be closer to that. Niggas is sensitive about their shit.
No, absolutely.
Right. So if I'm writing like grunge R&B and you like, nigga, that's not even my lane. Yeah, you're going to be like, nah, that shit ain't going to work.
I still feel like there's some type of lenience and understanding just being with another creative.
Right.
The understanding that you are a creative in your own right and I am, that just that understanding alone will take you far. Than being with somebody that's grounded, that's 9 to 5 every day. I go to work for the man and I don't switch jobs. I'm gonna retire here. I got a pension and a 401k. Like that's completely different than you being a YouTuber and I'm a songwriter. I still understand your drive and your passion and like just those those core values. Like
Understood.
So just off that strength alone, I'ma respect you as a creative and let you create how you freely want to. It don't always have to align with mine. Because then you're gonna be over here in my shit and I'm gonna be like, can you go create the fuck over there and let me do my shit?
Well, talk to me about, all right, so let me give you another scenario. You're a creative, right? But I'm not. But I love you. So how does no. So I want to be clear.
Let's go.
Being a creative does not mean that you're a starving artist. Maybe you are. Maybe your artistry doesn't pay you, but it doesn't mean that you're completely destitute because what's happening? I'm actually getting, right? I'm getting a check. I know how to take care of my family. I'm getting a check. But what does the support look like? How does that work? And how do you align yourself with somebody that's going to, again, like I said, foster your dreams? I can't be with somebody that can't dream outside of that 9 to 5.
I'll use myself as an example. So I feel like my last relationship, I was married to a non-creative.
Okay.
And it drove me crazy because I was in the studio all the time prior to our relationship. The relationship that I was in beforehand, he was a musician. So me going to the studio was never an issue. He was interested in my music. He came to my shows. He was very supportive. We didn't get along on other shit. But I moved on to somebody that I felt was meeting a need that I knew what it was like to have a creative side met, but I didn't know what it was like to get to be emotionally available and have other needs met. So I put the creative stuff to the side because I was experiencing something new. But once I got that, I still had that urge to create. And once that came out, it wasn't supported. And I was so used to getting...
But you think that was maybe rooted in insecurity as opposed to...
It could have been, but I was so used to I think I automatically transferred it. Okay, when I go to the studio, it's not going to be a problem and it was a problem. And I ended up not going, completely stopped. I stopped writing, stopped going to the studio, stopped making music. I focused on the household, tried to make it work, tried to suppress it to make it work. And that shit ain't work for me.
Yo, I think it's kind of like, when you go to a strip club, you meet a stripper. It's cool when y'all start dating, right? And then a couple of months later, you like, all right, you're going to have to stop that.
I'm gonna stop shaking it. Right.
Niggas
is coming at me.
Yeah, I don't like it. But you liked it, though. That's how you met her. You liked it. So I feel personally that's a little unfair to you. I don't like drive killers. You know what I mean? Don't kill my drive.
Right.
Nigga, find your drive. Don't kill mine.
Right.
You understand? I had the idea of this is what I wanted to do. I knew how I was going to do it, right? You were okay with it when you met me. You thought the shit was sexy, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And then couple of months later, it's like, yeah, no, about that thing that you do. Nah, I think that we don't realize when we're killing somebody's drive. Like, somebody could come to me right now with the most, and it's outside of a relationship, but somebody can come to me right now with the most ridiculous idea. You know what I'm gonna do?
Support it?
Nah. No. But I am gonna try to firm it up, though.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit there and just poke holes in it. And I have friends that can attest to that.
Yeah.
You come to me with something, especially, being older. I don't think that I know anybody, that has like outlandish ideas that just think that, riding in the car upside down is a good idea and this is how we gonna do it. And I'm like, what problem are we solving with that?
That part.
So I don't have friends like that come to me with that. But if you come to me with something I would deem to be ridiculous, I'm not gonna kill your dreams. Let's try to talk through it and firm it up. That's what I would do.
Communication is key in everything. So
a lot of people get the communication thing confused too. They think that communicating is just talking. You got to know how to communicate.
Right. And you got to know how to receive it too.
You got to know your audience.
Sometimes you have to learn how to say the hard thing and hear the hard thing too. Everybody can't do both.
Pulse. Sorry.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I was feeling uncomfortable. I don't think that you should have did that to me in that moment.
Some people have to learn to say the difficult thing and hear the difficult thing. And everybody cannot do both.
Amen to that.
You are so fucking
but the remix was crazy. I like it. I like the remix.
And it's like, so to our next point, the communication. Like, if, like you said, if the okayness changed with me going to the studio, it should have been communicated, but it wasn't. I felt a shift. I felt the lack of support. I felt it wasn't hey, I don't feel comfortable with you going to the studio. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It won't none of that. It was just a shift. So with the communication, like I said, you gotta be able to say the thing that's difficult for you to be all right. If you holding it, the resentment's gonna show.
Let me see. The biggest downfall in business and personal relationships is poor communication, and this is true. Just like you said. All right, look, for relationships, discussing financial expectations, roles, and responsibilities early. Yes. Because I guess that's just basically shoring up what?
Communicate, like...
You met me in a strip club. I had that elephant trunk thong on, feel me? And I was just basically doing I was doing my Kevin Hart, the daddy, when he was going through the aisle. I was doing that, and you thought the shit was cute, right? Hold on. And then 4 months later, you like, yo, about that Tarzan swing. We not doing that no more. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Well, at least I ain't selling pics of my feet.
I'll punch you in your gray. I will punch you in your motherfucking gray. If y'all ain't seen that episode, just I'm gonna punch this.
Nigga, I wish I could sell pictures of my feet. You understand where I'm going with it? All right, it's a whole other topic. No, but that whole thing. Let's talk about, all right,
sure.
So let's put a personal touch on it.
Sure.
Hold on, I had another foot joke in my head, but I'm gonna leave it alone. So let's put a personal touch on it.
If y'all see this motherfucking next episode and he ain't got none of this shit here, y'all know what the fuck happened. All this shit just gone.
Yeah. So my wife is a creative, right? Shout outs to Height and Heels that I've been saying like every other episode. It's like a Freudian. Yeah, that whole thing. Freudian slip and all of that. But she's a creative. And I thank God that she's a creative. Because the struggles and the shit that I go through, I'm not whining and, whatever, crying on her shoulder, but I can mention it and she'll understand exactly where I'm coming from. You understand? And we can help each other out. We do help each other out with regards to editing and all this other stuff, even though we do two different things. But neither here nor there. I don't think that I could have married a woman that's not a creative. Right? Or even...
it's not a mistake.
You listen, I could go as far as to say an entrepreneur, right? Because shout outs to all the 9-to-5ers. Like, I'm a 9-to-5er too.
As am I.
Yeah, but I'm part of the Underground Railroad too. So
No,
I'm hustling. We hustling motherfuckers up out of
Right.
there, you know, to get to where we need to go, the
Right.
promised land, you know? Take it back to 1950s, but, you know, flip that shit on its head, whereby we're the master and, you know, we're able to do that thing.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, just I don't think that I could have married anybody else that wasn't an entrepreneur or a creative, you know, and I lucked out and got both, you know.
So discussing just discussing things early keeps all the bullshit away later.
I mean, it can, but there's only but so much you can discuss up front. Because remember, we're just like you said.
We're evolving all the time.
Amen.
Shit changes.
Amen.
But as a creative, you understand shit changes. You might not know what it is, but
Yeah.
you know as a creative, you're evolving all the time.
Yeah, pivot
All the
is
time.
is you know, part of your lexicon when you're a creative or an entrepreneur, because you constantly have to do so.
But if you're talking about shit early, you can talk to your partner or your friend, your business partner, your romantic partner about the ways that they are able to support, so you can see where they're lacking and get the support elsewhere if they're not able to do that though.
Yeah.
So
Because-
like as a like Shadra's a content creator,
Yeah.
we do podcasting and I do music. Like we're all, and if I can't support you in a podcast in 1 week, I can say that, and that will allow you to kind of get your support elsewhere and get your needs met, and not solely depend on what you expecting from me. If I can
Right.
communicate that, you can pivot like you need to, and it won't be such a burden, and it won't catch you off guard. It won't be a hindrance because I've communicated
Correct.
what I can and can't do.
Correct.
So
Correct.
if you
but
are
you don't always want to have to, you know, step up to the podium and communicate certain things, i.e., you know, supporting certain posts and stuff like that, and you know, which is a whole other story. But you don't want. What the fuck is she doing
Hey,
upstairs?
yo.
You hear Thunderfoot upstairs?
New Jeru's.
Fucking 1:30 in the morning. This bitch getting up to get donuts.
My nigga,
and-
I almost want to move the table like over just in case the bitch come through the floor. Cause it's
Nah,
like,
that's a
what the
lawsuit.
fuck?
Like the chick that couldn't get into the fucking cab. We good.
Nigga, I ain't breaking my neck. That bitch is not finna fall on me on the
I
bullshit.
push you out the way.
Thank
you know what I
you.
mean? But we gotta let her come through the ceiling, and then
Yes,
we got
nigga.
the cameras and all of that. We need to catch all of that.
And you
All
know
of
that.
Yeah. I don't know what I was talking about because bitch, I got a concussion.
Shut the hell up.
Had a fucking concussion.
We ain't manifesting.
Knowing when to walk away. When a partnership isn't serving you anymore, how do you professionally or personally move without burning bridges?
Man, I keep a matching gas with me.
But see, that's the fucked up thing.
I know.
I can't, because
Oh.
and when shit goes on with me and I tell you, the first thing you tell me is like, yo, you're gonna have to temper all of that. You can't. And I be wanting to. Because I
But
don't
fire
understand.
signs.
This is my thing. I don't understand how you could do something to me, but then I'm the asshole. All right, we're gonna leave it alone. Listen.
So-
yeah, go ahead.
When a partnership is not, I've evolved into this version of me though.
Yeah.
Lesser evolved, just burn the bridge down. I don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never got to come back this way. I'll go another way. I'll find another way.
100%.
But now I look at kind of how you were saying about your friend earlier. Like you're still friends. You kind of chucked up the loss. If the losses are outweighing the wins, like maybe like I'm okay with having a conversation now.
Yeah.
Like I'm really okay with sitting your ass down and really be like, look, I can't fuck with this shit. Like I fuck with you. I love you. I appreciate how we've grown. You giving me like great experience. But this can't. I can't. I'm sorry. It might hurt your feelings. I'm good with that. And I don't know if it's as me as a therapist being able to have that boundary for myself. But I know I need certain levels of peace in my life. And if people aren't bringing it, I'm okay with boundaries.
You know what I
I
need?
do.
Nah, I don't need
I have
peace.
little ones that I need it for, so
Well, that's
our
different.
situation is different.
That's different. Yeah. I'll create my own peace. You know what I mean? Even if it means separation, I create my own peace.
But that's the same thing though. Like, how is that not the same thing?
What you talking about?
You might not need to have a conversation.
You said, that's what I'm saying. So it's not the same thing. 'Cause I don't need I can create the space. I don't need, so if I need the peace, right? Need peace, without actually having, pardon, just like stuck right here, pause. So if I need,
we on the pause part right here, because God, Lee.
If I need the peace, I can create separation. I don't have a problem with not speaking to niggas. I don't understand. What confuses me is like, that doesn't confuse me. I lied.
Because it may be a misunderstanding.
It could be.
And I'm willing at this. I've grown to this now. Mm-hmm. This probably won't even be a year ago. Mm-hmm. I've grown to this, but I'm willing to at least speak about it so you can learn from it. Like most people know how they fucked up. Most people know what they did wrong. But I'm willing, I'm this person now. I'm willing to have a conversation with you so you can know how your actions affected me. Okay.
No, I got
That's
you.
you.
No.
Yeah.
This is the thing. You a Jedi right now. I'm still a Padawan.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm still in my emotions and my feelings. So I don't think that a lot of people even deserve me like coming to them and
That's
you already
the truth.
know how fiery I am
Right.
at times, right? So I just feel like people are just out to slay the dragon first chance they get. Now, I don't know that you're trying to slay the dragon until we actually try to do something and you do some fugazi whack shit and then just turn around and be like, oh, so you was just trying to kick me in my nuts the whole time.
The reason I do what I do is because I don't want to be a hypocrite when I help other people. I want to say that I've been able to do a thing,
right.
Get through the emotion, actually do something that's serving me.
Right.
The conversation ain't for nobody else. It's for me to get the shit off my chest how I need to and let that shit be. You go over there and feel however you're going to feel about it afterwards. But because I do what I do for a living, I don't ever want to preach anything to somebody that I can't actually do.
I'm glad they don't pay me for advice because I don't give a fuck. I
don't give advice. I tell every client, I don't give advice. I provide a perspective.
All right, well, whatever. I don't want to see it from a different angle. I am fine. I'm not telling you to see it from a different angle. I'm fine. And until I do grow out of it, I probably will continue to lose people, right? But the smaller the circle, the easier it is for me to keep my eye on motherfuckers anyway. So that's how I look at it, you know. And listen, bringing this back to picking. Well, where were we?
Knowing when to walk away.
Knowing when to walk away, professionally or personal, without burning bridges. That's
like
that's a mouthful.
But that's why I decide to have the conversation because I'm gonna leave that on you.
But see, that's the thing. I can't have the conversation because most can't handle the conversation.
I agree.
And then that turns into something else.
It don't have to, because once I see that you ain't being receptive, I'm gonna
see. But this is the thing, though. Now you're saying that, right? You're gonna have the conversation, but then you also want to try to dictate how they react to this conversation that you feel that you need to have with them. They don't feel like you need to have it with them. Remember, these are the people that perpetrated whatever it was on you. They did that. You understand what I'm saying? So now you feel like you need to have a conversation with them. They didn't feel like they needed to have a conveation
before
when they did what the fuck they
shit.
did. Yeah, like get the fuck out of here. I'm not raising adults. Suck my. Sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. But that's where I'm at with it. Like,
but I feel you. Like, I overstand, and we're always like here. I get that.
Tired of motherfuckers talking about I need to apologize. I
ain't apologizing for a motherfucking thing.
But this is the thing. I don't feel like getting back onto the adult level. I don't feel like I need to explain to you or get closure with regards to something that you did. That's just where I'm at with it. And I would rather fade to black and not speak to you. You understand what I'm saying? Because to me, it's like, oh, you didn't give a fuck? Guess what? Me neither. With a V. Me neither.
I just feel like it depends on what the relationship is.
I guess.
If it's somebody new, you can get the fuck on.
I do it with people that are old too. I do with history, because if it hurts worse when it's actually somebody you have history with. Reason being is because you know me, you know my body, you know, and the first thing people want to do when you come out your mouth or whatever is attack your character. You can't attack my character. My resume is long and distinguished. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I show up when I'm supposed to show up.
Absolutely.
And I'm not talking about in a physical sense. In every sense, I show up when I have to show up.
Right.
Right? And the moment that you call out and you don't, whatever, show up when you're supposed to show up, I'm not supposed to feel some type of way. Then I got to approach you. I got to talk to you about what you did to me. Nah, I'm good.
Overstood.
Take that shit up the block.
Okay.
They got the 2 for 5s up the block. I'm not, nah.
So look,
yes.
Now that we talked about what makes or breaks a partnership, let's talk about some resources.
Okay, let's do it.
What we got?
So we got a couple of books, actually. The Partnership Charter by David Gage, a guide to building successful business partnerships. All right. Crucial Conversations, that's your thing, right? By Kerry Patterson, Mastering Tough Conversations in Business and Relationships. Now, what I do is this. I'm big on Audible. I don't have time to sit down and thumb through a book because one, I think that I have ADHD. Swear to God I do. Because I'll sit down.
So does the motherfucker upstairs.
Nah, they don't. They just making another donut run. So, yo, what is she walking on her elbows? This bitch is on me crawling to the fucking refrigerator. Anyway, outside of that, I'm big on Audible. Okay? You know, I commute to and
crawling
it's crazy. She got the G.I. Joe theme music in the background.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, knock it off. I'm trying to finish this up. I am big on Audible. I've been trying to get that out. Pause. So, if you commute to and from work, these are things that you need to put on your list of books to actually read. All right. So we also have online tools. These are very important. We didn't touch on the legal perspective, but Rocket Lawyer, create legal contracts for business partnerships. That's important. All right. We really didn't talk about that, but we'll get back to that. The Rocket Lawyer. Entrepreneur.com articles on how to vet a business partner. Those are very, very important because again, because I don't show up as a person that went to school for this shit. All right. So you and I, we're actually learning together. All right. So I might say some shit that's absolutely incorrect. And if I did, I'm human.
You're
and
teachable.
And I do want to learn. Exactly. You can always coach up. So you can hit us in the comments, DMs, whatever. So if you feel like we missed something, please let us know. All right. And that's all I have for the tools.
Okay. So evaluating compatibility and avoiding toxic partnerships.
That should say 15 minutes. Ain't no fucking way.
Ain't no way. Defining your non-negotiables for romantic partners. Discussing core values, future goals, and lifestyle compatibility. You gave a resource. I think you gave this one before. I don't know this. The author seems familiar.
What's that?
Amir Levine. Understanding attachment styles and how they affect. It's called Attached. The resource is called Attached by Amir Levine. Understanding attachment styles and how they affect relationships. So there's different types of attachment styles.
It's a really good book. I read it with Barbie from Let Me Touch You podcast. She has an entire season based on this book. So if you feel like you need a deeper dive into it outside of what it is contextually, definitely go check out Let Me Touch You podcast.
So he has another. No, I'm looking because you have the David Gage up here. So for business partners, defining your non-negotiables, speak about vision, work ethic, financial transparency, and again, the resources, the Partnership Charter by David Gage. So real quick, understanding communication styles and conflict resolution. How do you and your partner handle conflict?
We don't argue. That's like rule number 1 for me. I'm not arguing.
Okay.
Right? Because the thing is, she's a Pisces, I'm a Leo. So when we argue, you already know, everybody's trying to go for the W. Everybody wants the W. You don't have to get a W every time. Well, I do. But not with the person, right, that I'm laying down with. Okay, not with the person that's actually raising my kids.
So it doesn't even have to be an argument. So like up here, are they avoidant, aggressive, solution focused? Like it doesn't even have to be an argument, but how do you handle it then? If you don't argue, what does conflict resolution look like?
We have to wait until cooler heads prevail.
Okay.
You know, and when I say that, I mean like, yo, we can I'm funny. Pause. Not funny like that.
I'm about to say it's a whole bunch of entendres because
Yeah,
what funny?
yeah.
Well, you got to specify the funny.
Specify. Well, I'm funny weird.
Oh, I'm about to say you
Right.
funny comedic too.
Yeah, that too. But and I just try to like get her to smile or whatever and shit like that. She's a foodie. Food always makes her happy.
That's a woman trait.
Get those endorphins going.
It's a woman trait.
You know, and this is real shit. That's like, I can't give you a textbook way of doing it. And you have to know your audience. So whoever your partner is, you know,
Right.
whatever that sweet spot happens to be.
Tools for improving communication include active listening techniques. A resource could be the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman to help you understand your partner, how your partner expresses love and support. So as a therapist, I always say, like, I don't like the 5 love languages only because...
What? They left one out?
No, because I feel like don't relegate me to 2. I'm not taking a test. Like, I need all of them. And I would expect...
But there's nobody saying that you can't.
No, right. But in the book, it asks you to take a test to see what your top 2 are. That might not be my top 2 every day. So listen. With a partner, I would want my partner to be attentive enough and in tune enough to know what I need that day. But it is a good resource to figure out like what your love language is. And usually when you figure out your love language, that's how you give it. You give what you want in return. You're not giving what your partner's love language is.
Got all biblical. Anyway, get to the recognizing the red flags.
All right.
You could talk about the romantic partnerships. I'll talk about the business partnerships.
Okay. And recognizing red flags in romantic relationships. Pay attention to the lack of support, inconsistency, and misaligned goals. When they don't celebrate your wins, they belittle your dreams or undermine your hustle. Speak up about it. Like when you notice it, don't let that shit ride. If you feel funny, do not sit there and just act like you don't have a voice. If you're in a relationship and you have a partnership, you should have an equal say in your feelings. You should be able to feel safe. Hopefully you're in a safe space where you're able to speak on how you feel, how you've been made to feel, and hopefully y'all can have a resolution about it. But pay attention to your intuition. You will know when somebody's trying to shade your ass and they're not being supportive.
All right. So as far as red flags are concerned with business partnerships, lack of accountability, financial secrecy, and poor communication, it all breeds scam.
Scam like
you just got hit with the Me Too people.
Scam like
You know, they don't follow through on commitments. That's a big thing too, especially if they told you like, yo, one of my biggest things is you give me something, you tell me to do something, or we sit down and discuss something, I'm on it. So if they don't follow through with that, or you got to chase them down and figure out what's going on with X, Y, and Z, and there's only 4 you guys in the group, that's a problem.
Yeah.
All right. Or they avoid tough conversations about money. Now, if they're avoiding tough conversations about money, that's a red banner. That's like just a global, paint the whole fucking town red. Everything is red, right? Reason being is because when they came to you with the idea and they ran the figures, that wasn't a problem. Right. So whatever figures they ran or whatever thoughts they had as far as where it was going to go or where it would land and what it took to take off, and they could easily rattle this stuff off. Then you come back to them later and they can't, they hemming and hawing, red flag. Leave them alone. Leave them alone.
Spell that.
I know.
All
right. Testing the waters before we go all in for business. Start with small projects before becoming fully committed. All right. That is with anything. I know that when we come up with an idea, the first thing we want to do is like, we look at it like, oh, I could get 50 grand in 60 days and we all in. Can't do it like that.
Right.
You cannot do it like that. You need proof of concept before you do anything. All right. Which means the best way to eat an elephant is bite, bite, bite. Bite. That's it. I'm tired. Bite, bite.
Look, I knew the phrase and I ain't even catch the merch. Like I'm like, yeah, nigga.
Exactly.
Right? I'm with it.
All right. One of the best resources for business entrepreneurs is Forbes, right? There's an article called How to Vet a Business Partner. All right. And for relationships, engaging in activities that reveal character, like travel together, handle a difficult situation. I think traveling together is that's big. I think we need a whole episode on that, just on that. But yeah, right? Okay. And before we wrap it up, let's give y'all some it's a lot of fucking resources. Anyway, like I said, we're not showing up as know-it-alls. We don't know it all. However, you can definitely vet everything that we say, or even expand on things that we
please do.
We tell you and stuff like that with these resources. So before we wrap it up, let's give y'all some resources to help you navigate partnerships in business and love.
So with relationships, you got the 5 love languages like we talked about earlier by Gary Chapman. You have Crucial Conversations by Carrie Patterson. We mentioned these two before. Then they have some assessments that you can take, like some simple tests that you and your partner can take with each other to figure out your personality types and just your preferences. So you have the MBTI. You find out your personality types, how they affect relationships and business partnerships. You have the DISC, the DISC. Personality test is great for business partnerships and how to understand work styles. You want to talk about the apps and platforms?
Yeah, apps and platforms. So we have Trello and Asana. Stay organized when collaborating with a business partner. Those are great because you can actually have team members come in on projects that you're doing, and you guys can work on it in real time, or you can actually work on it independently but proof everybody's work. Relish, a relationship coaching app for couples. I'm gonna need to check that out.
I'm gonna have to check it out too, because I heard it out.
I'm gonna have to look at that. Founders Dating, a platform for entrepreneurs looking for business partners.
That's super dope. I need to look
It is super dope, but I don't know how much I trust it. All right, and legal and financial tools. We already went over Rocket Lawyer because you got to get yourself a lawyer, right? And what they do is I'm bugging and I'm tired. Scratched out. Rocket Lawyer templates for creating business contracts. How about that? You don't go there if you're going to jail or somebody's suing you. That's not what you're going there for. They're not going to give you a lawyer. Anyway, Honeydew, a budgeting app for couples. I'm going to look at that.
Right.
That's crazy. Okay. Final thoughts. Trust. Okay, go ahead.
No, I give you a break. We've been in this shit all day, goddammit. Fighting it out. Trust and communication and aligned goals are the foundation of any successful partnership. Romantic, business, friends, pastor, and friends. Whether in business or love, choosing the right partner can make or break your success. Again, the listener challenge. We will have these every week. So get ready. Be in it. So your challenge for this week: reflect on your current partnerships, romantic, business, or friendships, and how they are aligned with your current goals and value. Please be aware that you guys will evolve, so it takes communication to talk about when things change, when the idea that you liked before ain't the one you're on now. Speak about it so that you guys can stay aligned. Share your thoughts with us, though. Use the hashtag #HustleandHealPartners on social media. DM us, like it. Put comments under the post, engage. Let us know how things are going, and let us know how we can help.
Listen, I'm having a ball doing this. All right, we're getting out of here. Follow us on Hustle and Heal on Instagram and TikTok. Share your favorite part of the episode and tag us. All right. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And we catch y'all guys on the next one.
I'm Blessed Jess.
Styles.
Peace.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on another episode of Hustle and Heal, where real talk meets real transformation. If today's convo hit home, inspired a shift, or just made you feel seen, do us a solid. Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Stay locked in with the movement and follow us at Hustle and Heal on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and everywhere else you scroll. And if you want to tap in with your hosts, you can find Jess at Bless Jess and Styles at Styles_BK across all platforms. Because healing ain't soft and hustling ain't selfish. This is the work, this is the way, every damn day.